to take this down to a smaller level, I live in a town of 100,000 people and I got 5 councilmen. Is my representation okay in that?
Absolutely not. Yes, not only was it the case that at the state level, one rep should represent about 3,000 people, at the local level, because as our founders noted, it was sort of like a pyramid. At each level, government should come closer, particularly in the legislative branch. Another thing that's happened, not only at the local level do you have inadequate representation. Again, my poster child is LA County with 5 supervisors. And I guess a wonderful anecdote, I was actually talking to Mark Meckler the other day, and we were comparing notes on LA County. They have a law now that if you bring a football or a volleyball on the beach, $1,500.
Why?
A fine. Well, because there's a lot of people. But I mean, what if it's you and me out on there and we're throwing a football? You have just given any cop, the executive branch, the ability to write you a ticket for $1,500. One of the things I like to see when I see, a fine, criminal action against somebody, I like to see a damaged party. I don't want to see these arbitrary things, well, because you bought those shoes from a nation that we have sanctions with, we're going to prosecute you, or some random thing that just gets brought against you. I like to see a damaged party. You and I are throwing a football, kind of consistent with the idea of liberty, the way our founders proposed, and yet we're out allowing 5 people, of which 3 as a majority can write a law that can hit you with a fine for $1,500. Local government, not only do they not have enough reps, they tend to run at large. And I actually did a study, a friend of mine, she went through all the cities. 90% of our cities are elected at large. What they like to tell you is, since we're elected at large, what they like to say is, we are represented by all of us. And what will happen is, when you email all of them, they will all equally ignore you. No kidding. They will equally ignore you. You need single-member districts. The mayor, the chief executive, is the only person who should be elected in the whole municipality. Everybody else should have a district. The other trend that's crazy, 4-year terms. Our founders in the Federalist Papers argue with the Anti-Federalists about 2-year terms of the U.S. House. The Anti-Federalists, they're going to be in there for 2 years, they forget you, they do what they want. Well, at the local level, we have 4-year terms. You can't even begin to count the number of times they'll harm you. Vote in a manner that is inconsistent with what you or anybody else in your district would want, and then 4 years later they start behaving themselves, but it doesn't matter because they're going to be outvoted by the other people who have 4-year terms.